In this episode of the Red and Gold Report, I'm getting you caught up on all the most recent Chiefs news as we look forward to the real football of the regular season starting up, and as we're just days after our team completing their final preseason game. So, first up, let's chat about that last third preseason game against the Packers. I was out of town with the family last week, so I didn't get a chance to do my normal game analysis for you. But as I've caught up on some game film, here's a few thoughts I had about the Chiefs' final preseason tilt against Green Bay. First, I love the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs tribute to Lynn Dawson. Both the number 16 on the helmets and starting the game off with the classic Lynn Dawson choir huddle. We lost a great one when Lynn passed away last Wednesday at the age of 87, and I'm just glad that the team did something meaningful and unique to honor him. So, who played well in this preseason game? Well, I keep loving linebacker Darius Harris's play this preseason, particularly at middle linebacker. Backup tight end Matt Bushman just went off, leading the team with 73 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Ronald Jones finally had a decent game at running back. Shane Buechele, well, he officially sealed my opinion that he looks like a long-term prospect to back up Patrick Mahomes. Defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton keeps having a really solid preseason. And what I really was encouraged by was that a Chiefs running back finally looked dynamic this preseason. Rookie Isaiah Pacheco looked fast to the hole. My favorite run of his was with 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. He read the right tackle's block quickly. He hit a narrow hole. He didn't have a ton of room, but he was so explosive that before you even knew it, he was 13 yards upfield. If he can learn just a little patience and settle down his footwork a touch, you're looking at a ton of potential from this guy. And if the coaches and the general manager can swallow their pride about taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round a few years ago, well, Pacheco should be starting sooner than later. Who didn't play well? Well, rookie corner Joshua Williams is experiencing some real growing pains at cornerback and coverage. Linebacker Jermaine Carter keeps playing so poorly that he's gone from potentially being the third linebacker to potentially being cut. And offensive tackle Roderick Johnson played himself right out of a job. He already got cut. In injury news, second string tight end Blake Bell just had hip surgery, which is going to put him out for months. Also, first round rookie corner Trent McDuffie left the game with a concussion, though I think he's going to be back by week 1. Receiver Valdez Scantling is also in concussion protocol. Lucas Niang was moved to the PUP, which just seems like his new home at this point. And after leading the team in receiving, unfortunately, backup tight end Matt Bushman, well, he broke his clavicle. That's really rough news for a guy who had an amazing game like that in the final game of the preseason. You got to feel for the guy. But here's the thing. There might have not really been a roster spot for him, but now the Chiefs can stash him away on IR and have a great competition for that backup tight end spot in 2023. In also disappointing news, the Chiefs released running back Derek Gore, with an injury settlement. Now, if you watch this channel, I kind of thought he was the best running back for us last year in a running back group that wasn't great. But don't think that this is the end of the road for him. I think the team's going to likely bring him back in the future once he gets all healed up. Moving on from that game, the Chiefs recently decided to change wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster's contract to increase his per game roster bonuses from $30,000 a game to $60,000 a game. If you remember, he signed a low contract with a higher ceiling of incentives. It's very incentive heavy, and so this is going to be important to him. He can now earn up to an extra $510,000 in this season. Now, on face value, this makes no sense. If you just look at the numbers, it doesn't make sense for the Chiefs. Like, dude hasn't played a regular season game yet for the Chiefs, and the contract was just signed a few months ago. Like, why are you giving him the potential to make extra money? But actually, I think this is a really good, shrewd move for our team. Now, my guess is that he's going to end up earning about $200 or $300 extra $1,000, which, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, that's a ton of money for me. But in the grand scheme of a $208 million salary cap, That's a drop in the bucket. But what they do get in return is some really good will and some hopefully some gratitude from a player who, if all works out well, they're going to be trying to negotiate an extension for just next offseason. So it's actually kind of a good, shrewd move there. In other news, last Saturday the Chiefs released 5 players, including quarterback Dustin Crum. You know, not a surprise there with how Shane Bichelle's been playing, linebacker Mike Rose, and offensive tackle Roderick Johnson. Now, this is why I always tell everybody, like, don't listen to training camp hype. Don't listen to the hype, but nobody ever believes me. So this is a great example of why I'm right. During OTAs and training camp, Johnson got so talked up. Like, he got so talked up that he got the first crack to take over at left tackle during Orlando Brown's brief holdout. But once he hit the preseason, turns out he was a turnstile, and now he's already out. Like, he didn't even make the team. Didn't even make the very final cuts. So there you go. Don't believe training camp hype. In other news, I am officially over Tyreek Hill. I don't ever want to hear his name again. Recently, he said this about the Chiefs, and I quote, "I feel like they basically threw me to the side, like I was trash or something." Okay. Okay, Tyreek, I hear you. So let me get this straight, Tyreek Hill. A team drafts you after 31 teams pass on you 4 times until the 5th round of the draft because you have all these off-field issues as a rookie, right? Okay? But a team takes a chance on you. That team gives you an opportunity to develop into a star. They stick behind you and give you a $54 million contract extension when a lot of other people are calling for you to be cut because you keep having significant issues off the field. You know, a lot of teams, they would have released you, but not the Chiefs. They gave you an extension. You go on to win a Super Bowl with this team. Then they offer you a massive contract, which you're about to agree to until Devontae Adams signs an even bigger one. Your ego gets in the way, so you back out of that contract agreement you had been working on. And get this, the team, instead of getting mad at you for doing that, allows you the freedom to go choose. Choose where you get traded to. And you're telling me that that team treated you like trash. You're insane. You're insane. You know what Tyreek Hill is like? He's like, have you ever had a buddy? He can't stop talking about an ex-girlfriend, right? You got a friend and he broke up with his girlfriend and now he can't stop talking about her. And eventually it gets weird and it gets awkward. It's a little obsessive because he's trying really hard to pretend like he doesn't regret the breakup, like he doesn't still like her. That's Tyreek. Get over it, Tyreek. Frankly, I'm over Tyreek. I'm over his delusional drama. And if anything, I mean, he's just making us all glad that he's gone. In other news, after enduring preseason football for 3 weeks, we're all waiting for week 1 of the regular season when the Chiefs will be taking on the Cardinals. But it's not until September 11th. So good luck being patient. And finally, in Chiefs news, the worst week of football is, well, it's this week. Because this Tuesday, all 32 NFL teams must cut their rosters down to 53 players. Meaning, there's about to be a flurry of cuts for our Chiefs. Whose neck is on the chopping block for some of the recognizable players? Well, the wide receiver musical chair game is about to come to a stop. And I think for sure Cornell Powell, Josh Gordon, and Corey Coleman are all going to be finding themselves without a seat. I think running back Ronald Jones, who was an exciting offseason pickup, is on the hot seat, even though he, played better against the Packers. I think linebacker Jermaine Carter has played his way out of town, though I'm not quite sure if the personnel department will recognize it yet. And I think the team will keep an extra corner. But what do you think? Who do you think the Chiefs are going to cut? Who do you think is going to be a surprise roster keep? Let me know all that in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. And be on the watch for a video breaking down the final roster and the roster cuts in a few days. Thanks for watching the Red and Gold Report. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on this video. Thanks for watching, and go Chiefs!